Hello, my fellow Descendants! This is Mloentje, and welcome back. Last time we took a look at Sharon here, guys. The one of the 4 Descendants that is really easy to get. So Bunny here is one you actually got from the campaign, right? And it only needs 4 modules, same as with Freyna, who we obtained earlier, and last episode with Sharon. So now we have one more Descendant left that is actually really easy to get. And that one is Blair. As you can see here, I already have one of the components, and that is Blair Enhanced Cells. We can get those from a White Knight Gulch Normal Mysteries End. So we have Moongrave Base here. And at the end, we got the 20... my nose is itching. We got the 20-minute mission in here, guys. And if you look at Blair Enhanced Cells, acquisition chance is 20%. Now, for the other parts, I basically don't have them yet. So that means I'm actually going to need to farm for this. And that's actually pretty cool because the previous episode, we already had everything. This time I'm going to need to put in a little bit of effort. So acquisition info. Let's go check where we need to be. In White Knight Gulch again on normal. The biolab this time. So we're going to need to go hatchery and then the 20-minute mission of laboratory or biolab. And it's again a 20% chance. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, so after running around for at least 20 minutes, I was like, how the hell do I get to the biolab? Like, holy crap, what the hell is happening? Apparently, you cannot get to the biolab until you complete the mission from the, I think, it's or upper hatchery or lower hatchery. I think it's the lower hatchery. Because only with doing the lower hatchery will you open the door that actually leads towards the biolab. So I'm like, wait, what? That sounds so weird. So you cannot get to the biolab. Oh yeah, you can get to the biolab. We got these 2 machines here. Infiltration operation normal was White Knight's Gulch. Yeah, biolab, guys. So infiltration operation. Start public. So it's definitely one of the longer missions in the game, guys. 7 minutes 47 seconds. We actually were only with 3, and we did have a really good speed through the dungeon. So I think with 4 you might actually get it to 7 minutes, but still it would remain one of the longer missions in the game. But yeah, 2 runs, guys, and I've got my Blair stabilizer, meaning we can actually move to Albion and then move to the next part that we need to collect. So the next part we need to obtain is the catalyst, and we can obtain that one from Hagios normal the Haven. The map, it's on top here. It doesn't look like something we can actually run to, unlike the previous one, but we can also do, of course, this one. Infiltration operation. You go Hagen, Haven, Old Mystery. Ah, look at that. So the Old Mystery is where we can get our Blair code, guys. So we already seen where we can get the next part, but we are going for the Catalyst, the Haven first. So yeah, public event. Let's see how long it takes to complete this one. Yes! Hell yes, guys. Nice. So it is one of the longer missions out there. If you can do it with 4 people, then it would be around 7 minutes, 7 minutes 20 with 2 people, and I'm not using any good guns, guys. Like it's gonna take 10 minutes. So yeah, really happy. 4 tries on this one. Again, I cannot really say for sure. I've probably been here a couple times before, so it's more than 4 tries to actually get the Blair part. So that means we can move to Albion and actually move to the last part of our farm. So acquisition info, Hagios again, normal, Old Mystery complete, guys. So that is on top here. We do have this temporary safe zone that we can take, so we could actually teleport there. Hell freaking yes. And I think I took Thunder Cage, guys, because it was going so slow, like 16, 17-minute runs with 2 to 3 people. Now we had a run with 4 people and 12 minutes, and I think this is one of the fastest times you can get here, maybe around 10 minutes, but yeah, this has to be the longest mission ever. But we got the Blair code, guys. There we go. You acquired a new Descendant. Check and deploy a new Descendant from the Descendant menu. Blair. Let's confirm. Let's switch up. Take a little look, guys. Take a little look. Descendants. Descendant list. And yeah, I've got my audio about the Descendants and the NPC stalking. I got it off. I always do that when running missions, guys. So, 6th Descendant, Blair. Let's use. Ooh, looking mighty tough there with his jacket in a split at the end. Got some frills on there. His boots are metallic at the bottom. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. He's actually looking pretty good. That is one nice skin guy. A little bit of a beard in there, scar on his face. Let's check out his stats, right? At level 1, 193 defense, 336 shields. 336, yeah. 2,646 max HP already. I think that was the same amount that my other Descendants had as well. And 100 max MP. Okay. All right, level 40 and time to theory craft, guys. What do we got? We got 2,100 defense, 2,139 if you want to be specific. We got 801 shield, 3,795 max HP, and 187 max MP. There does not seem to be a lot of difference. Freyna's got 3,300. I think we got 3,600 with... what was it again? We just unlocked her yesterday with Sharon. There is really not a lot of difference between the different HP so far from the Descendants that I have unlocked, right? It might be completely different. Now, for modules, guys, well, basically the first thing we want to know is what skills are we using, right? So we've got 4 skills, like all of them. And use Fire and Dimension, only 1 skill. The Extinguisher uses Fire and Singular. But Extinguish is basically not a damage skill. So we do not want to, if we build for damage, we do not want to build into Singular at all. Like, that is going to give us, like, nothing at all if we would do that. So we got, like I said, 4 abilities. 3 out of them actually do damage. And then all 3 have Fire and Dimension behind it. Burnt Taste, Fire and Dimension. We got Deadly Cuisine, Fire and Dimension. So let's take a look at the skills. Blaze Up, Spew Fire, create a flame zone on the ground. Enemies standing in the flame zone receive continuous damage and are afflicted with a burn. We've got a maximum stack of 3, stack cooldown 12 seconds. So it's 12 seconds to actually get 1 stack. You can get max 3 stacks. Okay. Continuous damage is 36%. Damage interval is second. Duration 15 seconds. Radius 3.5 meters. Max expendable range 250. So yeah, we can build to 208.9%, so we'll definitely check out what radiuses then we're talking about. The continuous damage for burn is 40.5%, lasts for 5 seconds, and it's every second for a tick. Extinguish, recover MP based on the number of flame zones created on a battlefield, and grant Taste of Aggression on recovery. Flame zones summoned earlier are retrieved first. So max stacks is Aggressive Flavor 5. MP recovery amount per flame zone. Basically, you get MP back. Skill power modifier increase 6%. So that's 30% skill power modifier increase. And then a duration of 10 seconds. Okay, so for 10 seconds, we are getting 30%. So basically, you want to cast a flame zone on the ground. But we only have 3. But this one is already talking that we want to get 5 stacks, so you are going to need to get that cooldown low enough so that you can have 5 stacks in the 15-second duration, or get the cooldown lower and the duration higher so you can have 5 stacks at any given point in the game. Because you are going to need to basically consume them, if I get this correctly. Consume and extinguish the fires on the floor to actually get that 30% skill power modifier increase. Okay. Then we got Burn Taste. Fire a flame forward. Enemies hit by the flame take continuous damage and are afflicted with burn. Cooldown 30 seconds. MP cost 35. Continuous damage 152.5%. It's already a lot better than the 36 we see here. Damage interval 0.3 seconds, so it really takes really fast. Duration 4.5 seconds. The radius is 3 meters.
Max expendable range 250%. The burn is again 40.5% for one. Each tick is gonna be after a second, and it's gonna last 5 seconds, so 5 ticks in total. And then yeah, if we go duration up, it's basically gonna tick longer, right? We've got Deadly Cuisine. Fire a giant fireball forward on explosion. The giant fireball deals burst damage to nearby enemies and divides into multiple small fireballs, which create additional explosions. Small fireballs deal burst damage and inflict burn on nearby enemies. Create flame zones. So this is another way to create more flame zones, the same as we do with Blaze Up. I'm not really sure. Burn Taste doesn't say that it's creating flame zones. So the only flame zones we can create is with Deadly Cuisine and with Blaze Up. We're gonna have to check out how many we actually create with Deadly Cuisine. It depends on the small fireballs that actually inflict burn on nearby enemies, I think. Let's see, 120 seconds, 2-minute cooldown, that's really long. Skill power modifier 407%, explosive damage range 6 meters, max expandable 250. Small fireballs is 3, burst damage is 16%, radius 3.5 meters, 250 max expendable. The flame zone is creating continuous damage for 36.4 instead of the 40. No, that's for the burn. Damage interval 1 second, lasts 15 seconds, so we're gonna get 15 ticks. Range 3.5 meters, max expendable range 250%. And then the burn, of course, 40.5% again, damage interval 1 second for 5 seconds. And then the last one is Pitmaster. When attacking an enemy inflicted with burn, increase critical hit damage, increase skill critical hit rate based on the number of flame zones created on the battlefield. So we get more crit hit damage and more crit hit rates based on the number of flame zones. But we kind of want to consume the flame zones to actually get that skill power modifier up, right? So that is kind of tricky. These two work against each other. So skill critical hit damage increase is 10% default. The skill critical hit rate increase, flame zone count, has 5 stacks. So skill critical hit rate increase per stack is 5%, meaning that we can go to 25% extra skill critical hit rate if we actually have 5 flame zones. But we want to consume those 5 flame zones to actually get the 30% skill power modifier. So how I'm seeing this is basically you want to get this up as low as possible to constantly be placing down these flame zones. You want to consume those flame zones to actually power up your skill power modifier to 30%, then fire off the Deadly Cuisine that is going to benefit from the flame zone. Well, no. This is a weird one. Because if you place 5, you're going to take them away. There's basically no flame zones to actually increase your critical hit rate and critical hit rate damage to actually do more damage with Deadly Cuisine. See, that's the train of thought that I'm thinking. Like, you set up the block for put flame zones out there, consume them, get more power, and then you're going to have like 10 flame zones on the floor before you can actually... So I presume you're gonna need to do this one, then consume. No, you're gonna need to, yeah, you're gonna need to do this one, continuously do this one, and right before Deadly Cuisine, what's the duration? 15 seconds. We kind of need to get the Deadly Cuisine zone duration up to where our cooldown is. So the duration of the flame zones on the floor remains as long as the... So the second we actually use it again, we can use it by consuming the 5 that we maybe left behind. And then the 5 that we actually consumed will actually give us... Like, I think that's kind of how you want to build it. So, okay, the next part, let's take a look at all these skills, guys. So first we got Small Puddle. Now, we do create this one below ourselves. Okay, so yeah, I have no mods in here, guys. That's why it's doing almost 0 damage. Just want to kind of look at the skills. So if we press C now, see, we consume it and we get mana back. And we also get a flame buff next to my character. And that flame buff should now, because we consumed one stack, actually give us 6% more skill power. So that's pretty cool. So if we would do blam, blam, and blam, and create 3 flame zones on the floor, and then consume them, we now have 3 stacks. Wait, we have 3 times 3. Where did we get the... Oh, but we just consumed them. Right? Didn't we consume them? We still had the stacks. Interesting. Replace 1. Second one. Third one. Right? There we go. Now we consume them. That should bring all 3 to me. Yeah, and see, they still remain there. But we do have the buffs up. So now we would actually be using then... Oh, so it's consuming them, but it's still, as long as it's damaging him, it keeps damaging him. Let's place 1 here. Let's consume it. And the second it comes to me, yeah, it still remains there. Okay. That is nice. That is nice. So, Descendant modules, settings, skill cooldown, guys. This is the max. No. Whoa. Ah, crap. I think I screwed up. This is no longer the max. Yeah, I increased focus on fire because I kind of wanted to test it out. Now I don't have the 6.1% extra cooldown. Damn. Let's do focus. I know this is not gonna be... If we can implement this one somewhere, right? 6. So now, yeah, I know this is not an electric build, guys, but we just want to use the 6.1. As you can see here, focus on dimension, skill cooldown 6.1%, skill power 68%, right? So even if we upgrade the focus on electric, it still would be 6.1. So this is just to get the max amount of skill cooldown. So the Descendant module 74.3%, guys. But we still have the 20.5% from dimension activated skills. And if you look at our skills, they're all dimension skills, except for then, of course, the singular skill here, where we gather our flame zones, right? So dimension skill, dimension skill, dimension skill. So anytime we use a skill that actually does damage, we getting that 20% skill cooldown. And then was singular. So what happens with singular? All attribute damage for 30% for 5 seconds. Yeah, you want to use multi-talented on Blair. You're getting so much cooldown and you're getting all attribute damage for 30, singular skill, all attribute damage, guys, for 30%. Holy crap, that is a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. And if you look now, we have our stack cooldown to 3.1%, guys. So maximum stacks is 3. We have a 15 duration on the flame zone. So that means we can place 5 down before the duration. Oh, almost 3.1 is just a little bit too long, and this is why we need to work on our duration. But yeah, kind of don't have the slots for these guys. Like this is theory crafting. I kind of explained why I don't invest in Blair or in any other regular Descendants, because the developers basically didn't say. They're talking about making it retroactive. So if we invest into Blair and eventually we get Ultimate Blair, then anything we invested in regular Blair will automatically get transferred to Ultimate Blair, making it retroactive, right? But they haven't confirmed it yet that they're gonna do that. And unless they confirm that, I'm not gonna invest, because module additional settings and especially the energy activators, it's just way too expensive. Well, maybe not too expensive. It's just way too rare to actually get, to actually invest in regular Descendants for me for now. If you're watching this Let's Play or me talking about these Descendants, you gotta look at it at a point of view from a casual player, guys. Like a casual player does not have the time, nor the money, nor the interest in going after energy activators for every single Descendants. And I'm kind of placing me in that mindset, like, kind of want to theory craft on how to build them, but let's take a look at the skill cooldowns, guys. So if we place one now, 1, 2, 3, yeah, look at that. I can't keep casting it. I can just keep casting it. That is what you need, guys. Look at how many flame zones I got. Now I'm out of mana. I call them all back. You can see here, we're getting 5 out of 5 buffs for both of them. And now you actually want to do this. And that should... This is not giving us the most amount of damage right now, but that should be like the biggest amount of damage that you can do in the game. Well, at least on Blair, right? And that is kind of how you want to work it. That gives you the... But with so much cooldown in here, I think it's a little bit too much with multi-talented. I think we can take even focus. Save this. Because we get 20% cooldown every time. Let's see how the cooldown is now. Yeah, it's still 100% uptime. Like, the only thing... it's... Yeah, see, now we run out of cooldown, but we placed 6 on the floor. So that is still more than enough. We just ran out of mana to actually do anything. We call them back. That gives us mana back, as you can see here. And then while the bonuses are up, we do our fireball. Yeah, that is kind of how you wanna play with him. But if we look at the modules, Descendant modules, like we got this back to 38 seconds. So I would say that's kind of too long to focus only on doing damage with this one. So then we got Burnt Taste in here, guys. And Burnt Taste is flamethrower you can walk around with. You are walking slower, but you can walk around with it, guys. And this one actually should have 100% uptime. Do this. 4, 5, 6. Consume. Get mana back. And we can even do this. But still all the damage up. And we can place him again. Call him back. Get mana back. With mana back, we can flame again. Like, that is so freaking nice, right? And those are kind of the skills of Blair and how I would use them in conjunction with each other, guys. Like, you constantly want to have that 5 buff up from your consuming. So the 5 stacks giving you the 30% increased skill power modifier. And then, of course, the 5 stacks you can get for skill critical hit rates. And then the extra skill critical hit damage before you actually start using Burnt Taste or start using Deadly Cuisine. Like, that is kind of how it kind of will work. That's also the reason why I wanted to look into skill cooldown first. Because it's kind of tricky on how many zones can we apply and how many are going to be on the floor and how can we consume. But now that we know that we don't really consume them, recover MP based on the number of flame zones created on the battlefield and grant taste of aggression on recovery. Flame zones summoned earlier are retrieved first. So if you have a lot of flame zones, like say 10, the first 5 that you actually place on the ground are going to be consumed and the 4 others are going to be still on the floor. But it doesn't seem like you consume them completely. That is the weird part. Like, it says extinguish. So that would make it look like, okay, I'm just gonna take away all the fire, but that doesn't happen. So you're gonna be able to consume... I'm not really sure if you can consume the same flame zone twice. That might be something that we need to look into. We create a bunch of flame zones. Consume them. Okay. See if we can get them before the timer. Consume. Yes. So you can keep consuming from the same flame zones. And I was too slow to actually consume that one. Okay, nice. So it does not consume the actual flame zone. That's a weird skill. It's called extinguish, and extinguish means you put out a fire, but you're not actually putting out the fire. You're taking a little bit of flame out of it, and you're giving yourself more energy. Yeah, really, really nice. So yeah, looking at the skills, guys, we also, of course, gotta look at range. So max range we can get in the game, 208.9%. Haven't looked at anything else. Skill duration and max HP. It was kind of just me. I used this one to actually level him up. So this was my build to level him up. because I kind of wanted to have a little bit more survivability in there. And actually able to hit the enemies in the bunny cave with my skills. So yeah, now that you saw the amount of range that we can do without max range, because that was 0 range. This is the range we do with max range. That is freaking incredible, right? How big that is. That is freaking incredible. And can you imagine, like, if you make a build 0 damage, but all cooldown and all range, you can basically lay the entire, like, you can just keep running and just, as long as you have mana and you constantly have mana, because you constantly replenish your own mana, you can basically just run through an entire instance and just fire, 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 fire. You can just basically do this the entire time. And every time you think, oh, I'm out of mana, you get your mana back and you continue again. Like, that is definitely a build that I want to test out if I actually ever gonna, well, once I actually gonna build Blair. When they confirm it, if it's retroactive or not, or if Ultimate Blair comes out. So yeah, that was the range for that one. Now, you would think with our flamethrower that max range, you see here, 3 meters to 9 meters, right? Do have to pay attention, guys. With the max range, if you go to max range mod here, skill power modifier minus 20%. So every skill power, you see here the continuous flame zone skill power 36 going to 16.4. Skill power 152 going to 132. So continuous damage go. So if you want to go max range, which I don't think I would do, I would put in a little bit of range into Blair, but not max range. I wouldn't want to lower that skill power modifier. That's just not something I would do, honestly. But you would think that you could use flamethrower for the further distance, right? So if we use flamethrower, I think this was the range. A little closer. Yeah, so from here, as you can see, between the two boxes, we can actually do damage, right? Now, if we would go to a build, Descendant modules, we go, for instance, to an empty build, and we stand between these two here, you would think we wouldn't hit them. But we're still hitting them from here. A little bit less, maybe? Maybe I wasn't standing in the right spot, but yeah, we're still hitting them from here. Like, 208% increase in range. Wouldn't make sense, right? No, the range is actually in conjunction with how wide of a fire you make. If we stand over here, and can we get our skill back? That takes a long time without cooldown, holy crap. So we stand here. We're basically almost hitting every one of them. If we do this without range, yeah, they're still in combat, right? Replenish. Out of combat. No, not Descendants. And the modules, we go. There we go. Let me try that again without range. You can see that we're only hitting 1, 2, or 3 enemies at the same time, instead of the 5, 6 we were hitting earlier. So that is what actually range does with your flamethrower. It widens your skill, guys. So for that, I wouldn't use range at all. If you're gonna focus on the burn on the flamethrower, I wouldn't use any range. You're better off just going completely into damage, because the skill power modifier is actually pretty good. It's 152%, right? So you might put in a little bit of range, but I would go complete damage on that one. And then we have our deadly cuisine, of course. So yeah, 3.5 meters going into 10 meters. The explosive damage radius going from 6 into 18. And it's looking something like, do we have our range mod up? Yeah, range. It's looking something like this. Like, that is insane, right? That is quite a big puddle, and that's quite satisfying. It's not the biggest puddle in the game, and we, of course, cannot get to 250% at this moment. But that's quite big. And you guys go out of combat. Because if we do this one without range, let's replenish. That is the range without range. So yeah, huge difference there in the amount of damage and the in the amount of clearing of an area that you can do. So investing into range for Deadly Cuisine is definitely something I would do. Like, that is definitely something I would do. Same with going with a little bit of range for Blaze Up. Definitely something I would do. Burn Taste, you don't need range at all. So yeah, going into damage, guys, that is kind of the last thing I want to talk about today, is which mods are we going to need to use to actually benefit the most out of our damage? Because I'm still trying to understand this, and it seems that every Descendant has his own choice. For instance, for my Valby, I can get the most amount of damage out of using focus on Dimension, and that would make sense because we got all of our skills, our damage skills, our Dimension skills, right? So focus on Dimension, where is it? So if you implement this one here, we get Dimensional Skill Power Modifier 68.2%, Skill Cooldown 6.1%, right? So skill cooldown, you might be thinking like, holy crap, yeah, skill cooldown, really, really cool. So we're going to focus on fire then, right? Get more skill cooldown and get more fire skill power. Would make sense. This is actually how it works on, let's save this one. This is actually how it works on Sharon. Because on Sharon, we got the most amount of power out of using focus on fusion and focus on elemental. Focus on electric, I mean. Because she's an electric type ability user. But then with Valby, she's a non-attribute user. And if we would set up the modules to go focus on dimension and focus on non-attribute, we actually get a lower damage than we would do with focus on dimension and dimension master. So it's really weird. So for Blair, enough explaining, I'll just basically show you. So for Blair, focus on dimension, focus on fire, right? So if we go now and no other ability used, we place this one down. You can see 27, 29. So 29, 400. Okay. Descendant modules. So we're gonna move. Can we move out of combat? Seriously, dude? Are you still in combat? Descendant modules. Focus on fire. On. Focus on dimension. We're keeping her because it's a dimensional trick, right? Now, why would we do that? Well, focus on fire and fire master are both battle mods. So we cannot implement two battle mods at the same time. And because there is no dimension mod that actually is a battle mod, because dimension are all attack mods, you're always gonna implement focus on dimension once you have dimension. If you have singular, and singular would be the damage type, you're always gonna invest a singular mod, focus on singular. Like if we do dimension, because we can do that. If we do dimension, you can see here, focus on dimension and dimension master. Dimension master is a battle mod. But for fire, we cannot do that. Focus on fire, fire master, both battle mods. So you're gonna need to pick between one of the two. One gives fire skill power, 77.2% skill cooldown, right? The other gives skill power and fire skill power. So now I'm kind of lost in my train of thought. So if you go focus on dimension and then where is my dimension master? Save. Kind of didn't write my numbers down, guys. My mistake. See what damage we can get now. 34. Come on, tick again. Really? Why don't you want to crit? Give me a crit. 33. 34, 300. That's the highest we saw, right? 34, 300. Dimension Master is going out. And we're putting focus on fire in here. Skill power. 33.5 or 34.3. 34.3. 30. Come on, show me again. 34.3. Ah, we didn't save it. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm making huge mistakes right now. I had this prepared, but it's not going as I want to. So we're gonna save this one. So 34.3. See if we can get a crit here. 30. 30.5. So 30.5, guys. And if we would implement the other mod, the Fire Master, which we can switch out if it will allow me. Come on, go out of combat. There we go. So now we do Focus on Dimension and Fire Master. We would do that again. 31. So we can see now for Blair, the best composition to actually 31.1. Best composition to actually do damage is actually focusing completely on the dimension part and not one bit on the actual fire part. And that is the same how it works for focus dimension, and then we do dimension master. Where are you? That's kind of the same how it works for Valby, but it's not the same how it works for Haley. Haley, no, I got my sentence all mixed up. Sharon, like Sharon completely works differently. So the scaling is just, it's weird, guys. It's weird trying to figure it out, but yeah, you can see here 33 points and then 34. So the best amount of damage you can get with Blair, Focus on Dimension, Dimension Master. And then, of course, you want to go front lines, you want to go emergency measures, you want to go skill concentration, and you want to go skill insights. And that is basically the max amount of damage that you can get out of Blair. So that would be the actual setup that we'd be using. So this one in here, and then where is it? Front lines, this one in here. So we are out, and right now we would be using then skill concentration and skill insights. So that's 2 more mods that would be taken, giving us 4 mods to play with. And if we look at our, let's save, we've got 4 mods in here that have cooldown. So I would be using, let's see, so Focus on Dimension is already in there. So that's 3 mods that we need to implement there. So I would do Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion, and Multi-Talented. And then for the last opening slot that I have, I would go for Max HP, Skill Duration. Get a little bit more skill duration up, simply for the actual duration of Flame Zone. For the 15 seconds that we have here, we kind of want to get the duration up where 5 Flame Zones can be implemented at the same time, while our stacks are still all going, right? So that is kind of the theory build that I would do. I would put these 4, and then 2 more, the Skill Concentration and Skill Insight, into these 2. And then give us 4 slots left. And those 4 slots I would actually do on the... Not on the range, well, maybe... Wasn't there an HP and range one as well? Skill duration, time to skill cooldown, max HP. So I might actually... skill cooldown. Yeah, it's a control mod, and MP conversion is a control mod as well. I might actually implement this one in here. No, we don't need more skill cooldown. A little bit more duration is better. Yeah, it would be these 4 mods, guys. So this one goes over here, and then of course we will get Dimension Master. So Focus on Dimension, Dimension Master, because those are the ones that scale the best. And then we would do MP Conversion, Multi-Talented, Nimble Fingers. We would go for the rest into the damage mods, and then go into the complete. Like, I think that's the max amount you can do. So if we would look at, well, basically a build we can have here. Let's see how it scales, guys. This is not the max amount. We're losing a lot of crit hit rate and crit hit damage. Can I replenish? Yeah. That way I can place a couple more. There we go. Let's gather them up. Get our max amount of cooldown. I saw 240,000. That's actually not a lot. That's actually not a lot. Because on Sharon, we saw 1.66 million. So that is actually not a lot. We were in our damage build, right? Yeah. So max amount of damage, and then these for the crit hit rate and crit hit damage. It's not the max amount of damage that we can do, but the crit hit, yeah, it might scale a lot more now. But it's not gonna be over 1 million, guys. So it's not, yeah, it's not a Sharon. Still gonna be fun to play with, though. What damage are we doing now? Yeah, 66. If you have that cooldown where you can constantly place these down. Yeah, Blair is gonna be a fun character to play with. But I just don't want to invest into him. Maybe later on, once actually I'm done with like everything that I actually want to do, that actually needs my investments, because it's kind of what I want to play. Then, and I'm like, okay, now I have nothing else to do in the game. Well, there's always something to do in the farm, of course, but you get what I'm going at. I might actually build a Blair. If the ultimate hasn't released by then. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. You've seen my train of thought on how I would play Blair, on how I would actually use his skills, and what mods I would be using, and what mods are actually best. Like, yeah, focus on Dimension Master. On one, it counts. On the other, it doesn't count, and you're better off with focus on the elemental part and on the attribute part. Like, it is weird how this game kind of works in that regard. Like, it really is weird. Anyway, guys, this is where I'm gonna wrap up this episode. I think we talked enough about how I would play Blair, which skills we need to focus on, which mods we need to focus on, and in general, how Blair actually works. Like, it's really a fun character. If you can actually build them out completely, or are interested in building out completely, you're not gonna do millions of damage because you work on damage over time more than on singular burst damage like we saw with Sharon. But still a really, really cool character. Like, really cool character. But for now, like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you enjoyed the video, guys, just give it a thumbs up. If you learned something, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, just hit that subscribe button. That would always help out a lot as well. And see you in the next one. Bye-bye.